Hello, everybody, and welcome to Middle Aged Geeks, a podcast where we discuss a range of geeky topics from movies, TVs, games, tech, and everything in between. I'm one of your hosts, Daz, and I'm joined by my trusty co-host, Phil, a man whose love of seasonal weather has meant he has not one account, but multiple premium subscriptions to the Weather Channel. That is Phil. How are you doing, buddy?
Well, that for once you've told something true.
Yep.
Something. How pathetic is that? No, of course I don't. I couldn't give a shit. There's actually, you know what? There's a friend of ours watches the show, Jen, and her sister Greta once said, she said? I'd never heard the saying before, but there's no such thing as bad weather, just the wrong outfit.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, go tell that to the tornado. You know what I mean? Anyway.
So on this week's episode, we will be diving into our movie review, Twisters. And before that, we will chat about what we've been playing and watching, and a bit of news and a bit of feedback as well. And actually, speaking about weather, when we were coming out of the movie, it was a typical summer day in Ireland, where it's raining when we went in and kind of sunny when we got out, and then raining again when I got to the car. But the fact that we were just like, what? We were still surprised. We still chat about it like, fuck's sake, it's raining in July in Ireland. Just like, this, like, the country's been around for thousands of years. It's same shit every fucking time. But yeah, first and foremost, we get into three bits of feedback. The first was one of my good friends, Alan, said it's the game I was talking about. I called it The First Defendant last week, and he said it's Descendants. You fucking doofus. And I'm just like, yeah, it's The First Descendants. I'll chat about that bit more in a bit. Thanks, Alan. You dick. Also, Davian from Dublin said that he loved our Long Legs review, and he was asking last week, and I meant to say it last week, that he was asking were we going to do Twisters, because he says he has ridiculous love, like above and beyond the Call of Duty love for the original Twisters, and he had mentioned that he thought that like the VFX stood up pretty well for a movie almost 30 years old. And I think we both watched that. We'll chat about that in a bit. But I thought he was right on almost all accounts, apart from the flying cow, which, wow, that's just fucking horrendous, the effects. But so he'll no doubt be tuning into this.
Well,
episode.
A movie that's like, what's it, 28 years old or something? That movie. I mean, that's impressive.
Incredible how it doesn't look shoddy at all. Like some of it's a bit kind of hokey and colors are off, but it's like, holy fucking shit, they did this back then, you know. It's good shit back in the golden era of fucking horror / disaster movies. But yeah, and then final bit, Alan from Dublin said he actually loves supernatural horror, so Long Legs was right up his alley. He loved the alley. And he asked us, and probably mainly you, what your scariest supernatural movie was. For me, it's like probably The Exorcist or something like that, way back when, before I stopped, or before I was too scared to watch them. But from a supernatural point, what's the scariest one? The best one and scariest one?
Yeah, I suppose. Well, I mean, obviously, Jaws is my favorite movie, but that's more horror adventure. Favorite horror movie is hard to pick. It's probably somewhere between maybe The Shining or The Thing. But with supernatural horror, there's no one that really I find scary. There's ones that I find have there's kind of scenes in them more than anything else. But there's stuff like It Follows. I think that's quite creepy, because it's for most part it's an unseen thing, you know, and it's I don't want to ruin the plot for anybody, because it's an incredible horror movie. It's really worth watching. But I don't know, the supernatural stuff. I think the scare gets quite ruined quite often. If you look at, say, Insidious, you know, there's a couple of great parts at the start of Insidious, you know, daytime scares and stuff like that, you know, that are really just the camera cuts, and it's done really well. But the whole final act, you know, it's in its different realm, and there's all this other shit going on. It's kind of that kind of takes me out of it. I like to keep it a little bit unexplained. But yeah, good. It's a good question. It's tough to pick one, I think, when it comes to favorite movies in general. Like, Jaws is my standout, but I think for a lot of people, they can't pick. You can't pick your favorite song. You can't pick your favorite movie. It's just, but I'd say up there. Yeah, I mean, I actually watched Doctor Sleep the other night again, which I really enjoyed. But it's like a 3-hour version of it. It's Mike Flanagan who are like, and the cast is incredible. So I threw that on that because I'd only watched The Shining last week as well. So there's just those movies that you revisit over and over again. I mean, how many times have you seen Memento or Dark Knight? You know, some of your favorites.
Too many. Too fucking many. But yeah, that's some nice feedback actually there. So, but we'll jump then onto some news. So, any bits of news that jumped out at you this week?
Yeah, a few bits. Yeah, I mean, the first is that we've obviously mentioned Alien a bunch of times on the show, the Alien series. So Noah Hawley's Alien series, which I cannot wait for, is wrapped. I'm not mad at the name, Alien Earth.
Yeah.
Isn't I don't
A
know
bit of
for some.
punch. It's like I guess it's set on Earth.
It kind of reminded me about like Alien Nation or something like that.
Yeah.
It was just I don't know. It didn't really hit for me. I get it. It's going to be set on Earth, but I mean, like, you could have called it something else. You could have just called it Alien. You could have just left it at that. You know, I mean, it's been long enough since the first movie, Alien the series,
tie it
done
in with like we chatted just after Twisters. Actually, we were talking about just this and when it was announced, the title and the fact that I didn't know it was set in the late 21st century. And it's kind of strange in terms of Alien canon and stuff. Are they going to mess with the timeline and disregard movies, or I'm not quite sure.
They're definitely. I think from what he said, like he has spoken to Ridley Scott, but they're disregarding Prometheus and Alien Covenant, which basically was all showing us how supposedly human race, just as ignoring the theory of evolution and just that we were created by this other race of beings, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Ridley Scott actually went off on one, like. But I think he's just disregarding that, and as well as that, like the technology that was in, like Prometheus, which was the original set so long before Alien, it didn't even bother. Like it looks so much more high tech and like holographic screens and all this shit. It's like, what? None of that's, how come none of that's an Alien and Aliens and Alien 3? So, and it was set way after. So I think the fact that he's going for, and so is the Alien Romulus, are going for the feel of the original movies.
That's why Romulus looks so good, and I guess we can get onto that actually.
Yeah, did you watch the trailer? Yeah,
just watched it before we came on. Now, fuck yeah, Jesus Christ, that is amazing. It's almost giving me too much. It's just still a fucking whopper trailer, but like they do give away 3 deaths in the trailer.
But almost not quite though. I mean, you kind of see it. Like, is that? You're like, you're like, is that? Did that implant a thing? Or definitely that person who has the light shining through his stomach into shit. That such a scary amazing scene. Oh, I can't wait for that scene.
It's so,
but it's great, man. What I really loved was the shots in space. I know there's obviously plenty of them in the other movies, but it just looked absolutely gorgeous.
That planet with the rings and stuff. And I like the where they tease out a bit of the story where it's a team of, scavengers or something breaking into the Romulus space station.
Like a lab or something.
So they've chosen to go there, and that'll add some character tension and some dynamics to the kind of crew and stuff that'll obviously when they start getting picked off. But I love there's a few anti-grav sequences in it, which is just like
and looks at this alien blood like acid blood kind of floating in the
air,
air,
out of the way of it or something. Fuck shit. It's it looks it looks fucking so good. But anything else jump out at you?
Just one more thing on the trailer before I mention other news. The other trailer I watched was the one for Dune Prophecy, the HBO TV series. Yeah, it just came out the other day. It looks cool now. Like it's I saw Mark Strong and it straight away I was like sold. Obviously he's a show favorite here. And what's her name? God, her name escapes you. Samantha Morton. And it's it's set whatever hundreds of years before the Dune that people will have watched in the cinema recently. But no, it looks pretty cool. I mean, it's HBO. They rarely put a foot wrong, so
absolutely
looking forward to that. And then just a couple of small bits of news. The first one, which is great, was Daphne Keane is returning as X-23 in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, super.
Yeah, because for ages they were saying, for ages it was like, there's talk she just wouldn't be returning as that character and because she loved playing the character by all accounts, and she was brilliant. The screaming at him in Spanish, and he's shouting back at her. So she was brilliant in that. So yeah, delighted she's back. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was well, I mentioned The Shining earlier on. There's actually going to be a documentary coming out and it's going to be on YouTube on Stanley Kubrick's birthday. So it's actually next week. It's coming out.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I think very short notice. I don't think this is the thing I'm only catching on to. I think it actually has only
Surprised
been
a lot of people.
Yeah. So it's called, unfortunately, Shine On, which I'm
Come
not mad on the
on,
name.
man.
Yeah, I'm not mad on the name.
Shine on, diamonds.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
God.
it's Michael Sheen is narrating, and they're visiting
I've
like
listened to him.
yeah, so like he said, so they're visiting one of the last pieces of the set that's remaining. Like obviously he used a lot of set pieces and stuff, but one of the last bits of the Overlook set that they had, they're going to visit, and they'll be talking to interviews with producers, art directors, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool, and yeah. That's all I've got on my end with regards to news. Anything on yourself?
Probably the main thing I was looking at was I was just watching it earlier on today. Reports suggesting that the Russo brothers are in talks to come back and direct Avengers 5 and 6 and essentially save Marvel's fucking ass. Like they're obviously behind the scenes, they're just kind of going, we need help, and they are tried and tested. They've produced probably some of the best movies and some of the best moments in movies, and they're just excellent writers, but also excellent directors as well, which yeah, it's just there, and it's like a cleanup service now to kind of resurrect not even just the movies, but the box office. You can't be going into an Avengers movie, the fucking tentpole movie, on the back of kind of essentially kind of flop after flop.
Yeah, I think that this is what this is coming out on Monday, this episode. So I suppose this week we'll be seeing Deadpool Wolverine. So we'll see what happens there, because I think IGN posted something like they'd seen the first half hour of it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it basically rejigs everything. So we'll see what comes out of this movie. And then, I'm sure that'll give them so much more scope to decide what they want to do next after everything that happened with, Jonathan Majors and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll see what comes out of this movie, but that'll be good news, man. If that's true, those rumors are true. That'll be
if Deadpool and Wolverine, like as you're saying, if that pulls a total like pulling the carpet from out from under everyone and a proper rejig and taking it off in a new direction, which could be one of these drastic outcomes of the last few years of Marvel, that would be fucking great news to jump on the back of that, to kind of go, right, we got these guys in and. Yeah, give everyone a little lift. I would imagine. Gotta go. They might be able to fucking do something to save this shit. But yeah. Apart from that, a bit of I say gaming news, but on the Deadpool, or speaking of Deadpool and Wolverine, there was a Deadpool Xbox kind of skin or version. It's been released, but it comes with Deadpool controllers that are like fucking cool, red and black and whatever, but on the back is just two ass cheeks, like rounded cheeks that you're gonna hold on to play. It's just like I don't really want to get one, but then I kind of you kind of do. I don't think I'd be able to play any games with it. It's a fucking great idea.
Just on that, okay, it's not on games, but what bothers me is what we don't get over here is the popcorn buckets that have become such the big thing over there, and like the ad for the Deadpool popcorn bucket is fucking hilarious, and then like the one for Dune was ridiculous. There's one for Alien as well. That's an alien fucking head. That's like there's all these. We just don't get them over here, man. You can fucking get them in the States. They only pay an extra whatever few dollars, and you get your awesome popcorn thing that you're never going to use again. Don't care, still want it.
Yeah, well, you know what you're getting for your next birthday anyway, so big bum controller. And yeah, just the other bit was there was extended Beetlejuice trailer 2 came out, which give a bit more of the story, a bit more, and it still looks like it's from trailer wise going to be a hit for me. There's no kind of bum notes in the trailer, which I was worried about when you get a trailer 2. When they kind of tease out some more story, you generally we'll kind of see a bit more of like what's hitting and missing, but it just it just looks on flying fucking form. I'm just loving everything I'm seeing about that.
Yeah, I think I think the best example of what you're talking about there, Daz, is Suicide Squad. When the first one came out and they had that really slow version of the Bee Gees song, I started the joke, and it's just wow, man, this sounds, and just the Joker's laugh over it. It's like, oh, this is going to be
One of the best
Fucking, and
trailers
then
ever. Absolutely.
yeah, and then we got the worst heroes ever trailer, or whatever they called
Yeah,
it.
it just went
And
all pink and kind of popcorny and just like, oh, someone else is editing this one. And that was with that fucking movie. Yeah, the trailer did so well that they got the people who edited trailers in to edit the fucking movie. Just going, what the fuck? Just
oh really?
yeah. Just like, what the fuck? Just to re-edit, like when there was a screening behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Apparently, his version was akin to the first trailer. That's the movie he wanted to make. Didn't go down well with kind of test screenings and stuff. So they rejigged it all behind the scenes, and he kind of jumped ship and said, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like that's why
All
that
right.
movie Suicide Squad it's a series of music videos, like just a song every
Yeah.
time, and it's edited very tightly in terms of like 2 or 3 minute pockets, because it's edited by people who edit 2 to 3 minute videos for a living.
Well, I didn't know that.
There you go. Happy
Yeah.
days. But yeah, that's ties up all our news for this week. So let's get on to what we've been watching and playing. What have you been up to this week, Philly?
So I did a bit of gaming, just jumping in and out, messing around on the Switch and PlayStation, but again, just kind of half an hour here and there. I haven't really had a proper gaming session. Watched a few different things, right? But there's something I did watch which I hadn't seen, but I had heard it was decent, and like as decent as in for being a bad movie kind of thing.
Okay.
And it's The Pope's Exorcist with Russell Crowe that came out a couple of years ago. And
I remember
it is absolutely worth a watch, man. It is not because it's a good movie, but like Russell Crowe is fully into this. Like he's full on Italian accent.
Weird accent.
He's got an accent. He goes around on a little scooter, and like it's fucking bananas. But he goes full on into it. Like he's at one point he's doing wire work. Like it's yeah.
What kind of movie is it?
It's a supernatural thing. He's going into that, but like they don't just have a exorcism like The Exorcist or something, or one person. Like this is they're going down into fucking underground caves, thrones of like the first exorcist ever and stuff, and demons and shit. Man, it is bananas. And but it's worth it just for Russell Crowe's performance. It's worth checking out, man. Because I loved watching it just for that. It was so much fun. The movie is crap. Like the story is crap, but it's actually where he makes it so entertaining because he is full on, and then it's a decent enough cast too.
Yeah.
But it's honestly, Laz, I know you're not a massive horror dude, but if you see it pop up on streaming, I would recommend watching it. Like it's
that's
not
a good
scary.
endorsement now, in fairness.
Yeah, it is. It's good fun. What about yourself? Have you watched that and played that this week?
Well, I watched in preparation for Twisters. I watched Twister, the apparently completely unrelated movie, bar an extra S. But yeah, I watched it back again in 2 sittings because it had the overloaded cheese was just too much. Kind of skimmed through it, I was on my phone at the same time. But yeah, and we were talking about this yesterday, just seeing Bill Paxton on screen again, Philip Seymour Hoffman, just like, man. They're just fucking, like everyone else is great in the movie as well, but the 2 of them are just, you fucking miss them. You know what I mean? They're just so good. Like,
didn't feel it like, okay, I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but didn't Philip Seymour Hoffman seem like he might have been off his head? Like when you watch some of the scenes, I'm like, oh yeah, I can see it.
Either that or he's a really good actor far beyond his years at that moment in time.
Yeah.
But he's still fucking show. Like, he's in it for about 6 minutes. He's
fucking
incredible.
love him, man. He's so missed.
Yeah. But as we were talking about in the feedback, like visual effects are just really good. It's a more bonkers movie in terms of weather physics and stuff. They kind of, like when we get into our movie review this year, it's a little bit more grounded in terms of the actual tornadoes themselves. But yeah, it's just a good movie. It's good. Like, but what was it, 1996?
1996,
yeah, just around then when it was just like fucking, that fucking Godzilla and all these kind of things coming out around that time. It's just fucking.
It was all it was
cheesy,
all
fucking.
It was either giant creatures or giant weather events. We got right, and then right into the early 2000s when we had our Day After Tomorrow and all these different ones that there was just. It went from storms and monsters. Basically, there was a good 8 years there of that's what we were getting the whole time.
We should do a disasters
Yeah.
episode. We fucking
Oh
absolutely should
yeah,
do a
disaster
disasters
episode would be
episode.
great crack.
We
Yeah,
could
yeah,
go from all the
yeah.
way from the fucking 50s and 60s all the way up. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much all I watched. Playing wise, first Descendants, not Defendants, completely bounced off it. Didn't really hit a paywall as such, but I started getting into missions with people who were fucking 40 levels above me, and I got one mission.
Yeah,
It was my mission that I started, and they jumped on to help me complete the mission. And they could traverse the fucking level about 5 times as quick as I could. Every time I got to the where they were, everything was dead. I was like, okay. So I'm just running behind them, blah, blah, blah. And they're obviously flying, hanging on fucking walls, and they have all these crazy boots that they're just flying around the place, and weapons that are just obliterating everything.
Like, surely they should only match you. Like, you're
fucking atrocious. It's just
that's
like,
just bad MMO, yeah.
I got like all the points and all the fucking upgrades and everything at the end of it, but I didn't do anything. Just fucking ran after these guys. It felt like a 6-year-old trying to hang around with the teenagers. You're like, hey, I can shoot things too. Fuck's sake, like. So yeah, I kind of bounced off that. I downloaded the Concord Open Beta for PlayStation, their PlayStation exclusive, that hero shooter.
Yeah.
But that is, I didn't get a chance to play it. Tried to play it last night, but didn't get a chance. It's ending tomorrow, so I'm going to play it later on this evening. It's because I heard good things about it, but a lot of people are saying it's going to be one of the best PlayStation exclusives that no one plays. So apparently it's pretty decent, so I'm getting stuck into that. But what I did get stuck into is a fucking cool game called Nobody Wants to Die. Have you heard of this game? It's a kind of a neo-noir futuristic thriller where you're in a dystopian version of New York in like 2329 or something, and the immortality is around now where you can transfer consciousness from person to person, and you're not so much a disgraced cop, but a cop that has recently had a trauma or something, and he's on forced leave or something like that. You eventually get entwined in a murder mystery, essentially, and you have this girl Sarah on your kind of comms, and it's kind of the discussions between the two of them about dealing with trauma and stuff like that, but you're also trying to solve these mysteries. But it'd be like, to set the world, the first image you get of the world is like, it's a mixture of dark and moody Blade Runner mixed with Fifth Element in terms of the flying cars and traffic and stuff, and it's like fucking cool. And you've got this old battered, kind of looked like a 1930s car, but it's a flying car or whatever. You never actually get to fly the cars, which is fucking annoying, but you're just going around different locations and trying to solve different mysteries, but you have this kind of contraption on your arm. I don't know how or why you have it, but I'm only about 3 hours in, but you can, when you get to a location of somebody's murdered, whatever, you can rewind time and try and solve it through that, trying to find different clues and different, as you pace yourself through the
does that work? Like, because in, like you mentioned, Cyberpunk, like I didn't care really for the one in Cyberpunk where you'd have to go and you could check the noise one and then check the video one to get to read. And I didn't. That was a great idea, but I just didn't think it was. It definitely wasn't one of my favorite parts. It looked really cool in the trailers for it, the gameplay trailers. But once I actually tried it myself, I was like, these are a little boring. Like,
in Cyberpunk, it kind of works the first time you do it because you're like, fuck, this is cool. But then, like you do it once in one of those early missions, and it works cool. But after that, I don't think I ever did it again or wanted to go, to use that mechanic. But this way, it's pretty formulaic in terms of the how you're trying to piece things together. But it's more the mystery of their dialogue, trying to piece things together, and then they're kind of at odds with each other. And it's at times it's almost like an interactive murder mystery where you're just kind of listening to what's going on and pressing a few buttons here and there. But it's about 3 hours in, and I'm totally invested in finding out what the fuck has happened.
Sweet.
And that's pretty much all I have played and watched. So with that out of the way, let's get on to our main segment, our movie review, Twisters. So take it away, Philly.
Cheers, dude. Yeah, this week's one is Twisters, 2024 movie. Just came out this week as we record. For anybody who's listening for the first time, what we do is a little kind of chat about the general vibe of what the movie's about, and then give a rough score, rough idea, and then we get into the spoiler heavy section for the rest of the review. So as that says, this is basically a team of it's not related to the first one. Like there's nods to it, there's different mentions to it throughout, but it's kind of like it starts off, it's this Daisy Edgar Jones is this character Kate, and she's witnesses this kind of disaster near the start of the movie, and she ends up kind of not wanting to get back into the game of a storm, being with the storm chasers, and she ends up getting involved, and it's it's very similar to the first one, because it's fucking storm chasers. There's only
at some points.
There's only so much you can do with it. But it's like, I mean, from my point of view, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It had a real, 1990s kind of feel to it. Like you said, the hamminess of it, certain characters, when they're in it, there's almost certain music played over it. I think I'd like the director, Lee Isaac Chung. He's nominated for 2 Oscars. For
he's native of the area as well, isn't he? He's from around Oklahoma or something.
Oh, is he?
Someone said, yeah. He kind of knows the terrain.
He probably grew up to be a fucking huge fan of it, and like the even the writers, like the screenplay, Mark L. Smith, who wrote it, like he wrote the screenplay with Alejandro Inarritu for The Revenant.
Oh, wow.
And and he's done a bunch of horror. Actually, a horror you would have seen as well. Overlord. You watch Overlord? The Nazi killer, Nazi monsters and shit. But
I
could have sworn you've seen that one. No, it's I thought maybe I'll send you the link to it. Like it's actually it's actually good fun. It's Nazis who of course are experimenting and making super soldiers and shit.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's a bunch of people and fucking American guys taking them out back in World War II. It's mental. And then the story for it came from Joseph Kosinski, who directed Top Gun Maverick, because I think he was originally going to direct a Twisters movie. But like I enjoyed this, man. I really did. I think I thought that the budget was well spent because the effects are amazing. It's hammy, but in the right way. Like it's so much of it is fucking telegraphed to the point where I literally shouted out in the cinema at one point, I fucking knew it.
That was hilarious.
But just like this, it's like you're not going to see anything massive fucking surprising out of it, but it's great performances. The chemistry between Daisy Edgar Jones and
they're great.
What's his face?
Glenn Powell.
Yes, Glenn Powell is really, really great. He's brilliant, as Daz said during the movie. He's my new man crush.
He's fucking astonishing, man.
He's great. Like he's great. He's really likable. He was one of my favorite parts of Top Gun Maverick as well. So like, hopefully he goes on to have a really good career. What did you think, Daz? Give us your overhead view of what you think of it.
I hate it. No, fucking absolutely right there with you. Just really enjoyed it. Like there are moments where you're just kind of taken out of the actual movie because how formulaic and kind of beat for beat it is, and it's like I said to you after the movie, it was like we went to watch the first movie, not in terms of the content or whatever, but the feel. It's like we just went to watch a movie that was 25 years old or something. You're kind of going, this, and that's both a good thing, I guess, and a bad thing, like that throwback to like late 90s kind of disaster movies. Essentially it's a monster movie, like the Twisters are the monster of the movie, like, but the VFX stuff was fucking great, like to the point where some sequences of this were genuinely not just thrilling, but like borderline terrifying. Some of the sequences, you really got a sense of just the power of these fucking things. Thought that was really good.
From the start too.
Like it starts, like we'll get into that, but it starts so strong and so kind of like, holy fuck, this is like, even if there's, the cheesiness and all that kind of stuff and all the relationships and blah, 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 but it starts heavy and it builds, that scene, that opening scene builds her character, builds kind of the heart of the story, for want of a better word. But performances, thought, we're great, right from herself and Glenn Powell. The two leads were great. They're kind of serviceable, I guess, as you go down. Like it's what's his name? Anthony Ramos, whatever.
Javi.
Yeah. I thought he was awful. I think he belonged in a Dawson's Creek movie or show. He was doing his best, but he was just like he was acting in slow motion or something. Just the way he was talking, it's just very, very,
I
very odd.
wasn't sure what they were trying to. I wasn't sure what they were trying to do with him. I was like, oh, is he? He's into her. Okay, he isn't. Oh no, he is.
Yeah,
No, is he isn't? And then
there's a lot of
like,
kind of close ups where he's just turning, kind of looking at her, just like with fucking, just like he's playing it as if he's totally in love with her, but then he delivers something about weather fucking balloons. It's like, what? Why is this close up on him and he's looking all doty and I just didn't.
and they don't set that
I
up at
just
the
thought
start either. Yeah, like it's
no, because they could have done a lot more. Because there is moments where they kind of chat about, like, because both of them obviously were together in the opening scene and they hadn't seen each other for a while, and they could have built something with that. But yeah, I thought yeah, they were served well to the movie, but it's not exactly a plot heavy movie, but that kind of works for it, I guess, in a sense. Like, you kind of just watching the movie happen, and then like when it gets to we'll get into it, but like when it gets to the kind of the latter parts of the movie, there is like Glenn Powell and Daisy. They do have really, really good chemistry, and some of the scenes that really give the movie like an extra star for me, when there is that payoff when they have one or two decent scenes towards the end when you're just like, oh fucking hell, I am invested in these guys. But Glenn Powell, it's the two of them are great, but for opposite reasons. Like, he's just like uber fucking oozes charisma. It's coming out of his fucking ears. Like, he's brilliant, but he's believable in that, and he's also believable that when he has to, when he's not so much given an edge, but when he's given a bit more to do, and it's not just a kind of like yeehaw fucking rodeo twister chaser guy. But it's kind of his movie from a showy point of view, but it's her movie from, I guess, an emotional point of view. And I didn't think she was going to land it.
Yeah, it's almost a redemption.
But she does then.
It's a redemption kind of thing for her.
How to deal with grief and all this kind of stuff. And
it
was a decent payoff in the end. So yeah, really, really, really liked it. Nice throwback, nice old school vibe. It's great.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think it's and like as I said, for the budget, like budget was 200 million. I think it was originally going to be 120, but with COVID and with the writer's strike and everything, it went. But I think like for this opening weekend, it was tracking for 75 million. I think so. Like so it should be fine. It's reviewing well both by user reviews and critic reviews. So
because the first one cost like 100 million, which is, I don't know what that is, like 250 million by today's budget. So it cost 100 million, and that made like 500 million worldwide or something like that. It was a pretty big hit as for a 90s fucking, I was going to say horror movie, a 90s kind of disaster movie.
I remember so much of that. Like, it was everywhere. The little featurettes, showing the special effects and showing the fucking bits of the barns and stuff being
when you saw the trailer of that movie in the cinema, you just like, you'd almost go back to watch any movie just to see that trailer again. It was just like, holy shit, they can do that now. It's just like, fucking hell, there's a cow floating.
Because you're like, it's a storm. How fucking good could it be? And then
those
are fucking hell, man. This is awesome.
Blew your head off.
Yeah, it was cool. But yeah, like as you said, lots fun cameos towards the first movie. It's a fun 90s vibe to it. I would probably give it, I don't know, 3.5 stars for me, just because, as I said, it's predictable, but in a good way. It is. There's a lot of stuff in it where they're shining on about like technology that they're using, and I kind of tuned out for a lot. Like, a lot of it was like, I don't really care. Like, they were talking about the, okay, we shoot this up and this will do moisture for this, this will break this, and I was like, I don't care really about any of that. And the thing is, they don't really need to.
Yeah, I think that was a lot of padding, but they do that at various points in the movie. It must be padding for runtime or something, but. Even though they explain that, they think they explain that quite well, I still didn't really get, just, this didn't work because there's supposed to be moisture in it, so I'm going to fire a rocket with tiny little rockets with water in it? What the fuck? It didn't, I'm sure it makes sense, but they didn't need to do it, and also they didn't do it very well.
Yeah. Well, look, 3.5 from me, but a good 3.5. It's a lot of fun. I would definitely recommend it. Yeah. And it's PG too, so you can whole family.
Bring the kids. Bring the kids. They won't be terrified at all. Fucking hell. Yeah, I'd give it probably 3. good 3, just because I was
Yeah.
taken out of it by what you said there, and also just the kind of how formulaic it was. Where you're just going, wow, this is. I could actually. Like I went to the toilet in the middle of it and came back and didn't even. She's like, I didn't need to ask you anything. They're just like, yeah, straight back in. Yeah, if you miss anything, you could go to the toilet pretty much at any time, bar the opening 5 minutes, and you'd be able to pick up right where you left off.
Well, look, that's our shortened version of the movie review. Go and check it out.
Yeah.
And if you're staying with us, we are going to move on now to our spoilered section. So, like we said, Daisy Ridley plays a character called Kate, and at the start, we're introduced to her and her mates who are like they're looking to get a grant. By they call themselves the Tornado Tamer Project or something like that. And the whole idea is that they've come up with this idea, and rather than in the first one where they're looking at tracking them, she's looking at a way of breaking up tornadoes. So it's she has all these mixtures of chemicals in these barrels, and the idea is that they'll do something to do some sort of babble. This mixture of chemicals will do something while it's going to get sucked up into the tornado, and it'll make them dissipate. And like it's again, like it's like fair enough. I don't need to know. I don't really need to know anything more than that. That's the kind of cool thing. Like
we have
like
magic dust. We want to put it up there. Cool.
Yeah.
How are you going to do
pretty
it?
Much, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not even, and like if we get some of a couple of the early nods to the first movie, she mentions going back to her aunt's or whatever it is for a barbecue, which is the same thing that happens in the first one, and then there's the machine they call the machine Dorothy, which is what the machine was called in the first one as well.
Yeah.
And then later on in it, Bill Paxton has Glenn Powell has the same truck that Bill Paxton had, that red pickup.
Yeah.
Like they're the kind of nods, but they don't go mad with it apart from that.
I really thought there would be like that she was some like a strange daughter or something that was
her dad was a tornado or something. Like her dad was a tornado, and her.
I was born inside a tornado. Yeah,
I actually thought we were going to see a cameo. I was full sure
absolutely
we'd get a stinger at the end of just fucking Helen Hunt going, come and join my team.
The movie is the same. It's like it's Twisters, obviously, but it's the same fucking font. You can't do the same font and not have fucking cameo in it or some kind of tie to it.
Yeah,
but
So anyway, look, we'll get into it. They kind of they're on their little thing, and as you can imagine, they go off into the yoke to drop their shit. But as they're going in, they're into the truck or into the storm, the trailer behind them tips over, and their whole team are fucking freaking out. And and Kiernan Shipka again is one of the we mentioned her on the Long Legs episode. She's in this one. She's the blonde girl with the glasses. Yeah. So there's just another movie for her. So a bunch of them get out. The car goes, we're going to have to get out. This car is going to get ripped up into the air. We'll have to fucking leg it from the car. But while they're running away, the tornado catches up, and it's like
she
cool.
Gets it wrong or something, does she? Alluded to that she got something
I think wrong. I think it's just that she's convinced that this experiment will work. But what happens is if the one that ends up chasing them is what's called the biggest one, EF5. They're just calling them F. I think in the first movie they just called them
F5. Yeah.
Yes, and this is an EF5, and so this thing doesn't work. Basically, this is too big for her little experiment to handle. And so it's fucking gone up, but like it's full on. Like I was getting like I felt the tension in this dirty thing. Like the storm is fucking amazing. It's fucking ripping along. They're trying to get away. The Indian guy gets fucking ripped up into the air. And then there's 3 of them kind of trying to make their way up into the overpass. And fucking Kiernan Shipka is crawling up, and it's telegraphed to shit. You're like, she's not making it.
Yeah,
the other 2 of them are kind of moving along pretty fast. Kiernan Shipka's crawling up. Like, oh man, die, she's dead. Yeah, it's like she's dead. And sure enough, so this piece of debris comes along, smacks her, and carries her off up into the air. Maybe she'll be back in the next one, Twisters, the Revenge, or whatever. But she gets killed. It's just her and her fella. I'm sorry. But
I laughed as well.
I pissed myself laughing. Like, so they're curled up under the kind of the crook of the underpass thing, like where you would imagine you wouldn't get sucked up under, And he's holding on to her saying, I've got you, or something over and over again. Next thing, the fucking tornado
Yeah.
just
I think it
fucking
was the
sucks it up.
dialogue. It's just like he said, "I got
Yeah.
you, I got you, I got you," but he just gets sucked. But he gets sucked out. It's just like somebody's dragged him by his feet, like whoop. It's just,
Yeah.
like just visually, it was a bit kind of like a bit hokey in the midst of this fucking really dramatic thing. But again, it's one of these things that it's don't know why it was so telegraphed. I've got you, I've got you, I've got you. Just like you don't.
It's so they could do it later on.
Gone.
You know, it's so they could give those familiar scenes to it later on. You know,
but that did get a giggle.
But yeah, her fella got sucked up, man. I laughed out loud at that. That was fucking funny as fuck. And then we cut to 5 years later. We can tell it's 5 years later because she has a new hairdo.
Oh yeah.
And she's working for is it like a meteorological department?
Yeah,
some place in New York or something. Yeah. But I assume she's there because she's she's always got PTSD, and you're not really going to see too many hurricanes milling through New York City.
Yeah.
And
she doesn't,
her mate,
but she's wasting her gift. We'll get into her gift in a minute. Like,
yeah, she's pretty much
gift.
She's like a tornado whisperer. Like she can tell when like glancing around exactly what. Never mind the technology is telling you. She can look around and tell you
the clouds.
Oh yeah, yeah. She'd be fucking handy, man. My fucking Google told me earlier on it wasn't going to rain. Put me washing out and it got bleeding soaking. Fucking useless. Could have done with her then.
It's got to look around longer, man.
Yeah. But Javi shows up. So Javi was the other part of her. He was on her crew. This is when he's one of the main characters. So he was the kind of the sit back. He wasn't get wrapped up on the store with the rest of them. He's kind of the sit back
computer.
He's the computer dude. But he shows up and he says, "Look, I'm working for the military now. And we've got this new tech on board." And he's trying to get her to join him. And he says, he shows we have these. They're like we have to triangulate them basically. There's 3 different devices. We put them all around the tornado and it'll get us a 3D picture. It'll be, it'll be amazing. And he explains it actually. I kind of didn't mind it. Yeah. I kind of like the way he explained. So he explained he got a little glass out and he spun it around to do a cyclone and then he showed what these little panels around it. And it was kind of cool. And she's like, "No, I don't want to. I'm not into it. I'm fucking obviously still traumatized from everything that happened." And then he fucking guilt trips her.
Yeah.
He sends her because he sends her this voice message along with an article of all this fucking stuff that's been torn apart. And he said like it's this once in a generation like tornado festival. Yeah. And he says like all these tornadoes. He said, and they're coming for the people we love. Yeah, he says they're coming for the people we love. I was like, what the fuck? They're not out after you. This is fucking.
She said no.
She's like, no, because it's wind. It's not. They're not after me, and they're not after the people I love. You fucking lunatic. But the guilt trip. The guilt trip works
straight away.
Yeah. It's essentially like fucking Jaws: The Revenge. Like the shark is fucking following them. Like it's that the part was just.
They're after you, Kate. They're after you.
You could have guilt tripped her about the state of the place already. Look of all these disasters you could help. You don't have to throw in it's coming from the people we love. Like people. It just It's like no. Anyway, she goes with him and she meets his whole like fucking team of scientist dorks, and they're all different specialities, different scientists, and all this kind of shit. And then
you notice one of them. Did you notice one of them? The guy who's always telling him to no, we got to do this with it. That's David.
Yeah, I thought he looked like Bill.
That's Superman.
That's Superman.
That's the next Superman.
Yeah, because
I didn't realize that.
Because I first saw him, I was like, he kept reminding me of Bill Hader, and that's all I kept seeing. Because I knew the man Superman was in this, but I kept seeing him. I was like, God, why does he look like Bill Hader? But I think he was well hidden. He had his shades on for so much of the movie as well.
Couldn't even recognize him with glasses on. Like.
Yeah, he's fucking big dude too. He's fucking so. I didn't realize how tall he was. You compare him like next to little Javi. But yeah, this is big business. This fucking storm chasing, because when they go to meet them and get together, all these other teams of people are there as well, like amateur storm chasers who have apps. And then Glenn Powell turns up, and he's like the opposite of this team of dorks because he shows up. The country music kicks in.
Yeehaw!
He's got the grill on the front of his pickup truck has like a hurricane fucking etched into it. He's Tyler Owens. Yeah, Tyler Owens is his name, and he's known as a tornado wrangler. And of course, it's all fucking cowboy hats, and he's like he's a celebrity. Like he's full on celebrity. He's signing T-shirts for people, and they're all cheering his name. Like, hey, fucking, it's the cool dude is here, and like you said, he's on YouTube. He streams all his
Yeah.
chases on YouTube. And what I liked that they had the British journalist that's with him. They had
Yeah.
this guy who's with him, and he was just who looked, I thought, remarkably like a bit like John Locke, God rest his soul.
I did actually.
But yeah, I liked him. I liked there was some good comic stuff with him in it.
Well, he was fucking
Yeah,
great.
he's just he's there to do a
And
documentary
he's not in
on
it too much
Storm
as well.
Chasers and Himmler. No, he's just in it bits and pieces, and he's he's funny. His reactions and stuff, the stuff is fun. They're all kind of calm when the fucking tornadoes come towards him, and you see him shitting himself in the car and stuff like that. But there's some little scenes like that are really good. But I suppose yeah, here's one of the parts you were talking about, Daz. I don't know what they called him in America, but I think they call him even in Cork, Daz. But is it a Ginny Joe? Is that what you call them? The little thing with the bits that float off it? What do you call them? Well, not a Ginny Joe. What are those things called? The oath she has in her hand, and it's the little bits come off it, and she lets it go into the wind, and they play this music, and so she can tell what's happening with the storm.
Oh yeah, I don't know what the fuck that is called.
Maybe it's not a Ginny Joe. Whatever it's one of those things Joe? Anyway. It's like those things. Maybe Ginny Joe is the other yolks. Little. Anyway, look, it doesn't matter. It's a piece of plant that fucking dissipates. It's like fucking Anyway, she has one of them, and this is part of her looking off to see to see where the storm is going. So
she's superpower,
but the camera pans around her, and she's looking off into the distance, and she's picks up this thing out of the ground.
But like, isn't that the same as just just picking up fucking some grass and going, it's the wind's blowing the west, so maybe we should go west. That's probably where it's going. What's it like? Or is it just like, whoa? What's she picking up? Is she picking up wind patterns?
Yeah, because obviously the technology is telling them one thing, and like a couple of times in it, she's better than the technology. So it must be some sort of superpower. But she's your man Tyler rocks up and starts flirting with her, and they're yapping back and forth. They have a little kind of little digs at each other. He's calling her city girl and shit like that, and she tells him, "Oh, if I were you, I'd go east. That's where you're most likely to get the big storm." But she goes west, and they end up fucking following her, but they split into teams, and there's actually a bunch, which I get it because it's a tornado, but there's a bunch of Wizard of Oz references in it. I assume same as the first one. Dorothy was obviously a nod to Wizard of Oz, and this again they've split into teams so they can all put their 3 different trackers to triangulate, and
Lion,
and it's Tin Man and Lion, so it's all from this. So
I only got that now.
All right. I got this back in 1996.
You were paying attention way more than I was. Fucking hell.
But they when they get into the and again actually in one of the lines as well, he says to the British guy, Tyler turns around to him and goes, "You're not in London anymore."
Oh yeah.
Not in Kansas anymore and stuff. There's a few of them, but like it's they're doing their proper high tech fucking stuff, and then it cuts into fucking Tyler, and when he's going along, it's all fucking country music and yeehaws, and their truck is bouncing up and down, and he's live streaming his tornado stuff, and it's just, I loved it, man. It's so over the top.
It's brilliant, and the soundtrack as well just lends straight into this must-add, where like it's it's when it's the other team, it kind of is, it's cinematic kind of action music, blah blah blah. And when it cuts to him, it's full on just like fucking rodeo baby. It's all fucking country superstar singing something that's very literal. I'm on my way to chase a tornado. Like, Jesus Christ, you're describing the movie.
Gonna punch this tornado in the face, and fucking it's brilliant, and it's just their raggedy kind of truck compared to the fancy looking trucks. And
his truck is pretty fucking like it's he mentions in a throwaway comment. He said like, "Oh, I've got the extra weight or the extra lead on the truck or whatever." He still was able to drive it fucking fine through marshes and all this kind of stuff and fields. And obviously you can drill down in it, but it can withstand. Like there's a few inconsistencies in it.
Oh yeah, like it's like a fucking
all over
tank,
the place.
like,
Nothing's touching this fucking truck even before he locks it down into the ground. But
like they don't have glass this good on the space shuttles. Like it's serious fucking thing. But because at the start they don't tell you about those drill things the first time, because they're tearing towards. It's as you'd imagine, it's Kate and her buddy Javi are the ones that have to set the final sensor,
Yeah.
And Kate freaks out and she panics, and she says, "Oh no, we have to go this way instead." And she drives off, and she's actually driving away from the storm, and they lose it. But Tyler gets there, he drives into the middle of it, and they launch a bunch of fireworks into it. Not sure why, but the fireworks all explode. Tornado looks cool.
She says that like she just like did they something about them firing fireworks into it? Is that like are they just chasing it for a YouTube channel to fire fireworks into it?
Pretty much,
Like the first movie, there's kind of there's different people wanting to get different rewards from charging and whatever, but he's just like, yeehaw, fuck this, I'm just going to chase it to fire a few fireworks into the middle of it, and it looks cool. Just like, well, okay, I mean,
and he has one of his dumb mates who's all about the fireworks and fucking explosions and shit. And his mates are all just a ragtag bunch of misfits, and they dress that way, and the lads are all in their uniforms and shit like that.
It's believable if it's a hit YouTube channel, let's say, because they said we've got like 1 million viewers or whatever, and it's like, well, it makes sense you would just keep doing this kind of shit because it makes you money and makes them revenue and all that kind of jazz.
And then and they're fucking having the crack. But you don't see the drill things at the start. That's why I was a little confused, because he drove his truck directly into the middle of a tornado, launches the fireworks, and then the tornado pretty much stops straight away, and they just fucking walk off. Yeehaw! Fuck it, that was amazing. Da, da, da. And they're kind of poking fun at the other team because they screwed up. But it's like, I don't know, that you explain later on, you'll see the truck has these fucking drills that drill down to the ground to hold it in place, and it's reinforced with extra weight and shit. But the next morning we see Javi's having breakfast with this dodgy looking dude, and they're straight away you're like, okay,
it's like Javi's super dodge shit.
You're straight. He's kind of shown like, even just some of the, like, she's even standing there, I think, for one of the lines where he's like, yeah, we've worked out the people who'll take a cash settlement, and you're going, oh. So straight away you're going, oh well, this is obviously,
and she just
they're profiting. On. Yeah, they're profiting. Straight away.
But the man they're talking to, like, he's dressed like a fucking. I get he's not evil in the movie. Like, he's just a fucking property guy or whatever. But profiting from whatever.
He looks like the kind of guy who traffics in Ivory
Hazard
and
fucking
stuff
villain
like,
or something.
Yeah,
it's just the hat and the fucking shirt and that little fucking metal kind of rodeo tie thing or whatever. It's just like, and he just looks like he's a bad guy, and she doesn't cop on for another 60 minutes.
So straight away at this point, then like you're like, okay, well now I have to keep an eye on Happy. You've given it away too early. Like I know he's not a good guy now. But then as this place is Tornado Alley, they go chasing the next tornado, racing against Tyler. They like fucking. This movie is lousy with tornadoes. They're fucking everywhere. So like they go chasing after this next one, and this one's twin tornadoes. And so they're going along, and Tyler's trying to decide which one to go for, and so are they. And he goes, fuck it, I'm gonna go we're gonna go for the right one. He goes right, but Kate uses her superpower, and she looks out and she sees the way the grass is moving. She goes, no, we're gonna go left. And so she heads off left with Javi, and they get their fucking whatchamacallits down, their sensors down to get their reading, but one of them gets swept up. And you see like Tyler's good at it. They cut back to him, and he's got to a tornado that turns into nothing. It just fizzles out, little loser tornado. And he's realized, he's like, oh, Kate knows her shit,
she's the real deal, man.
So Javi says, we need to go and get the other tracker, the final tracker, get the data before, I'm not sure why. Is it before it runs out of battery, or if there's it's just like why they had to get it straight away? Like,
I didn't understand that. Obviously, like, this is data, telemetry fucking data is going to be sent somewhere. Like, it's pretty
because she says
fucking shit. Like,
because she's like, oh, we need to go. That storm is heading towards a town according to my weather app, and so we should go there and help. And he's like, oh no, we got to go and get the data for this. Why is it time sensitive? Like, the battery surely might last a little bit.
Yeah, and if the battery dies, are you losing all the fucking data?
Not
get
just
it fucking better.
But you have two other mates that are driving around in fucking 4x4s as well. Just tell them to go and pick it up. So look, pick it up.
Just a cheap way to infuse some conflict into this. It didn't really fucking need it. Just like, let's get to the town. They're gonna fucking get it.
So they go towards the town to help. Doesn't show them helping at all. They're basically just walking through the rubble.
She gives like a blanket to one person. There you go, and then they just walk around and chat to each other. It's like fucking helping people in the rubble here.
There's like distant cries from people, help me! Like just walking along. Might go and get a sandwich. I think that place
it's
looks like it's
exposition
open.
time. God damn it!
But yeah, they're walking through the town, enjoying enjoying the carnage. And Tyler comes across, and he's the one that has to break it to her that she's working for bad guys, or at least he intimates it. He doesn't say it, you know. But and then we find out Tyler's guys. She sees them selling T-shirts, and she makes a dig about him. Well, what are you doing, fucking selling merch here?
And then he explains,
part
is like,
this
is hilarious.
He just,
she says it to him, and he just walks off.
He just walks off.
The next fucking thing is one of his team runs over, like, "Hey, Kate, would you like some food?" And just like, "No, keep it for yourself." Just like, "No, we get the food because we sell the T-shirts." And we
give the food out for free to the needy.
Yeah, food, and it's just like, Jesus Christ! It's just like exposition time. It's just it's fucking like on the nose. It just doesn't even fucking cut it.
I know. I was expecting.
Like, you could have just explained that a little better. Like,
I know. I was expecting the camera to pat to her to go and just turn back, and Tyler be just looking off into the distance or something like that, or
no top
holding two orphans that he's just pulled, two orphans and a puppy that he's just pulled out of a burning building, and be like, God, what a guy!
Do you want a signed T-shirt?
So, like she's obviously taken a bit of a liking to him. They go back to the fucking, what is the motel or whatever, isn't it? They go back to the motel and fucking place, and there's a bit of an argument. Or Javi, she's kind of obviously asking him, "What's the story here? You know, is it true that you're doing shit for profit?" He's like, "It's more complicated than that." Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And Tyler decides he's gonna take her out to a rodeo. Which she's like, "Yeah, why not? I'll go along with you. This guy's on the opposite team or whatever." Like, so she heads out. There's some the rodeo thing is gas again. He tells her he used to be a fucking rodeo guy, and he has a line, something like, I learned that you don't face your fears, you ride them.
You ride them. Like, the fuck are you talking about? Are you right? Like, I think that only applies to that one thing you're talking about. Like, it doesn't apply to anything else in life ever.
Yeah. Can you imagine me trying to get up, ride a spider? I'm just going to take it down, jump on its
ride
back.
That motherfucker.
Right there. If there was spiders big enough that I could fucking jump on the back of them, I would have already killed myself. Forget about
purpose.
It. But yeah, so fucking because these tornadoes are fucking hiding around every corner. There could be a tornado under your bed.
Here
could be someone you love. Someone you know might be a tornado, and they're hiding it from you. Like they're fucking everywhere.
Under the couch.
Yeah. So one of them turns up at the rodeo, and
that kind of slow kind of pan into her as she's figuring something out, and everyone else is looking around as well because the fucking trees are blowing everywhere. You're like, and you live in fucking Tornado Alley, and it's the storms of the fucking generation or century or whatever, and she's like, I think something is amiss here. And it's like, fucking everyone knows there's a fucking, like, the place is about to be ripped to fucking shreds.
And actually, there's fucking
lame, like.
There's fucking cattle running everywhere, horses running everywhere, fucking shit's getting pulled all across. And it's a serious ass fucking storm. And I actually thought this was one of the best looking, because it's nighttime and it's really it's really cool. Like they get back to the motel, and there's a couple that are kind of a guy who's arguing with the receptionist. And his girlfriend behind, who's saying it's not even a storm, blah blah blah. And actually, that guy, the guy who's arguing with the receptionist, is Bill Paxton's son,
cool.
James Paxton. Just give him a little small piece in it, which is cool.
Nice.
But they're like, well, have this place have you got a storm cellar? Have you got something? Everybody needs to get out of here. There's a tornado coming, and he kind of believes her. The receptionist believes her, but believes the two of them, but the last couple don't. Until the whole side of the building gets ripped off.
Why wouldn't you just like if anyone mentioned anything that sounded like a tornado, if he lives in this fucking area, you'd be gone. Why everyone doesn't have a bunker? Just like, there's a tornado every fucking minute.
And why didn't they? Like, because when you're at the rodeo, everybody's phone, people in the audience are all getting these like message weather warnings, text weather app going, hey, get the fuck out of here. These two back at the hotel and everybody else all would have been getting these messages as well. Like, no, it's probably nothing. It's like a fucking, it's like an Irish person, like Tommy Tiernan said, an Irish person when the fucking fire alarm goes off and you're in the pub.
Yeah.
And you're just like, that's probably nothing.
Is that my phone?
Yeah, is that my phone? Or so guys, you're like, fine. Like, I'll let you know. I'll just cover myself in beer. I'll be fine. But luckily, this motel, the pool is empty. And she fucking goes, she has the idea of, quick, let's get down into the pool. So they get it's her, the receptionist, Glenn Powell, and this mother and daughter. And they manage to get down into the pool and stay really low until the motel worker doesn't listen to Glenn Powell's instructions. He gets fucking yanked away into the tornado
really
as
scary
well.
About somebody just been fucking just sucked up into the sky. It's just like, fucking hell, man.
Yeah.
Whether it's plausible or believable, I'm pretty sure it would just fucking, tear you apart or just drag you up. But it's it's fucking terrifying seeing that.
And this is one of the callbacks to, as you said earlier on, about the, I've got you. But they didn't want to have. They obviously didn't want to have Glenn Powell say the same line. So the mother is like protecting her daughter, has her back to the storm, and is in this little alcove, where the pumping room is, and has her back, and she's saying it to her daughter, I've got you. But Glenn Powell is standing behind her, shielding. She's standing behind Kate, shielding her. They thought, no, it'd be too on the nose to have him say the exact same thing. So we'll just have someone else say it, but in the exact same scenario.
Yeah. Exact same. You're just like, oh, that really has no kind of consequence on the story, really.
Yeah,
you should
have just let him say it. Like, if you were going to,
I gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, like, actually, sorry, this is the part actually where she confronts Javi on his stuff, like, and he says some cold shit to her. He lays the fucking deaths of the people who died at the start kind of at her door, because she was the one who was her project that they were working on. Pretty cold.
She forced them. She pushed them to go. Into that storm, and she got it wrong. There was a bigger storm and stuff. And it is a bit cold. Just like, fucking hell, man, that's a bit. And he just gotta say, look, we've all, like, he had to deal with that. We've all
lost people
as well.
So she steals his car and heads off to her family home to visit her ma, who obviously lives nearby. And we kind of see a little flashback through a home video of Kay and her dead boyfriend. In this family barn when she was first working on the experiment and what her idea was to shut down this program. And her ma has kept all this shit there. So there's that little tiny town and all fucking models of the way it was going to work. And then, super creepily, Tyler shows up at the family home, which is just fucking weird because he didn't get the details.
Just a lot of weird kind of choices happen. Where do you come from?
She's okay. Their mother obviously lives in Tornado Alley. Why anybody wants to live in a place like named Tornado Alley is beyond me. I think that kind of covers a bunch of states. You kind of you got to live somewhere. But anyway, the Tyler shows up at the family home, and straight away you're like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, I get you're having the the back and forth with the two of them, and it's maybe have him go with her when she's fucking going off to the time. Go with her to the home or something and say, come on, look, like, you're not going on your own.
I found out your second name, so I found out and looked up where you lived, and now I've fucking come here. It's like, what the fuck?
Like, if he was an unattractive lech of some kind, she'd be like, what the fuck? Call the cops. Call the fucking cops. The ma doesn't even bat an eye. The ma comes in. He walks into her barn, basically what she's doing. So if the ma turns up and goes, I'll make a barbecue. She's fucking. Let's
have dinner.
Let's a barbecue, and she's fucking telling stories about Kate when she was younger. I did like, this is probably one of my favorite parts of Kate's or Daisy's performance in it, was this scene when she's in the barn when she's talking about how the experiment didn't work and her guilt and stuff. And I think this was one of my favorite scenes of hers where she was really flexing the acting chops.
And you know the weight that she's been carrying, but she just verbalizes and just go, look, fucking, I've had to live with this, and I'm going to have to live with this for the rest of my life, that I fucking made a decision and my friends died.
You really feel the guilt.
She's got the acting chops at that point. You're just like, woo, fucking hell. Because you were saying afterwards, like, that she was a normal people, and it makes you want to go and watch more of her stuff, because she's very good for most of the movie up to this point, but then she really does jumps up a notch here, where you're just like, oh, fucking hell. And it's at this point, the two of them, they're character arcs or whatever, their charisma and their chemistry really comes together and kind of sells the next 20 minutes or so. But yeah, she was fucking great in that scene. But but her mother her mother says, I've invited Tyler to stay the night. Just like, why are you doing that? That's fucking weird. He just arrived up here. You've just fucking met him and just like, oh, well, he's going to stay in the spare room. So why?
I was like, I think
just go home.
Maybe the ma wanted to fuck him because she's the one who's like, it made him. I told him to stay around for dinner. I'm making barbecue. I told him to stay over. Maybe she was telling Kate, listen, Kate,
tell him I like him.
Hint. Yeah, take the hint. Fuck off. Like, leave the hot cowboy here and you fuck off and go and chase another tornado. But yeah, like the she's after the scene. Tyler wants to see he's to see her thing in action, and he said, "Look, with all the technology we have these days, we could probably do a better mapping and work out why it worked or why it didn't work." And so yeah, like I also what I thought was a bit weird is that he goes, we can get access. I can use my laptop to get through to access. Da 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 da. It's like, well, she works in the meteorological society, and all this stuff has been available to her. So why hasn't she ran any of these tests to find out why it didn't work? Maybe some of this could have alleviated her guilt if she could save some more lives.
And the thing was,
he's the one that has to tell her.
Yeah, and she's not just a kind of tech savvy college person, like from the start where they have their project and they want to do this. She's worked for 5 years in fucking New York in this, around this technology at the forefront of fucking weather anomalies or whatever the hell she was doing there. That it comes down to like, well, I could, this fucking rodeo guy, YouTuber, it's like, well, I could run a fucking new model for you and use my rockets to fire some fucking rain into the fucking storm or whatever he does. Just like, it's just, we need your rockets, Tyler. We need rockets on your truck.
On the truck. That's pretty much basically it. They run the simulation through his computer, and she realizes, we had factored in X, Y, and Z, but there needs to be a certain amount of extra water or moisture or some other bullshit, and they get some fucking chemical that they need to do it. Anyway, Kate's obviously after leaving the team of the dorks because of Javi, and she joins Tyler's fucking ragtag bunch of crew, and
who are infinitely cooler, like.
We're infinitely cooler. Yeah, they're just, they've got the cool music, they've got cool nicknames,
drones,
their truck looks cool. It's they got this awesome drone. They're just having the crack. And so they go off heading into the storm to try and catch it. And so the next storm. And while they're chasing the fucking thing, the other fucking crowd are in there as well, Javi's team. And this is cool because the tornado rips through, it's like an oil refinery or something like that.
Yeah.
Again, stop fucking building all this stuff around Tornado Alley. But anyway, the tornado fucking rips through. And it's cool because the fire is getting whipped up into the storm and all this.
And that were fucking brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tearing through. It looks fucking cool. But this tornado they're chasing is hungry for blood, and it takes a turn heading towards a town because these tornadoes are definitely sentient in this movie because they just seem to make beelines for these
people over
places.
there. Let's go and kill them.
Yeah. So it's heading towards. It's hungry for blood, and they head down. And Javi goes. He is with his mate, as you said, Superman, in the seat beside him, and he abandons him because he's like, we have to go and help people. And Superman is obviously not Superman in this. It's like, fuck the people. So he goes, yes, maybe this will make him even less believable as Superman. But yeah, he goes, right, I'm leaving you. So he leaves him on the side of the road and he goes to help. But they get there, they're trying to help people, storms tearing stuff apart. And this was one of the parts that I called because fucking Tyler gets stuck and he's stuck under this yoke and she can't move it and the wind is getting closer and closer. And I was like, this motherfucker's showing up any second now. And then all of a sudden you see this plank go under it, to make a fucking fulcrum, fucking whatever thing, and it cuts up and it's Javi. It's like, fuck off. He even she must have known he was going to turn up.
Yeah. Even she did.
So he fucking, they prayed up and they get everybody. The town is just not built to survive a tornado, and they're all taking place in this movie theater. But Kate's like, no, I have all the gear here. I'm going to go and take down the tornado. So she just fucking leaves everybody there and heads off on her own in Tyler's truck and drives off into the tornado. And the rest of them are all these people, all the fucking crew, all the people from the town are all hiding in this fucking theater, and the seats are getting ripped up. It's actually really cool visual of the screen. The
Oh
screen's
yeah,
all
it's
still
starting to
projecting
warp.
as it
Yeah,
goes
yeah, yeah.
off, and it's starting to warp, and it gets wobbled, and the whole wall pulls off. Like it's
They're
really,
fucking
really cool.
terrifying. Like it's quite
Yeah,
believable the way the structure has just been slowly ravaged and falling to pieces. But that thing, everyone holding onto the seats, and they're starting to rattle, and a few seats go loose, and
yeah,
up into the tornado with fucking a few different people, and it's pretty fucking riveting and terrifying to watch in equal measure. There's not too many cinematic wide shots of the
yeah,
trucks. There's a few of them to show the size of this last one, the F5 or whatever. But so much of it is just close ups
yeah.
and a lot of close shots of people fucking terrified. And it's like the sound, and we saw it in IMAX as well. And it's just like, yeah. And you were saying we should have seen it in 40x, something, just
Yeah.
water just splashed all over you, be fucking drenched. But yeah, it was just a really, really good sequence. Good, just very harrowing.
I didn't. I was wondering if maybe Javi would die. I thought maybe because
Yeah.
I didn't think any of his crew would die. You could see them kind of holding on for dear life, but I was like, no, I don't think so. There's not enough. They haven't put enough emotional weight behind them that really did
Wouldn't
bother
matter,
that go
no.
going. Because now at this point, what would be the point of killing them off? You know,
His
whereas
redemption arc
Javi,
would be good.
yeah, I thought Javi might have been a
saved her and
redemption
died.
arc. Yeah, like he goes and fucking saves him, manages to fucking push them to safety, and all of a sudden I don't know, a fucking telegraph pole fucking hits him and knocks him off in the distance or something.
For sale sign or something.
Yeah. But she fucking takes the truck, tears into the middle of the tornado, and then she's in there. She hits the button, the drill bits go down to hold the car in place, and all the gear from the truck, the formula and the rockets and all this shit, she fires it up into the middle of the tornado. And just before the tornado is about to hit the town theater and kill everybody, it just dissipates because it worked. Her thing worked. Yeah, and that's what brings us towards the very end. Like we get into the end, and the last scene is at the airport. We get an air. I'm not sure how much time has passed because Javi and Kate are talking. Basically, sound like they're gone into business together.
Yeah,
she's talking about I'll get so and so to run the numbers. We'll da da da. So they've hashed things out, but I don't know how long has passed at this point. Like the truck is still manky. The one that he's
that's
driving.
The thing. I thought why is it still the same truck that's just been through a fucking multiple tornadoes and is in fucking bits driving up to the airport? Like they wouldn't let you in.
Yeah, to
Do you
both
have
trucks.
another truck?
Like,
both
yeah,
trucks.
like
Did
it's
you
the
have
red
any
one
other
and the
means
white
of
one.
transport?
That's what made me think. I was like, okay, that
straight
feels
away
like
afterwards. Like,
they went straight after. But he's talking. They must have had a really in-depth conversation about what the plan was because he's like,
businessman.
they're essentially gone into business together.
Yeah.
And then we have there's a cameo from Paul Scheer, which I really enjoyed.
So good. He's in the first movie as well. He's the only one to be in 2 movies. I don't know who the hell he was in the first movie, but he was in it.
All right,
yeah, because he said
I
online
remember from the first one.
He said, "I'm the link between the 2 movies."
Oh, brilliant!
But he's fucking brilliant. Like,
yeah, he's got. Yeah, I love Paul Scheer. So yeah, just to see him, he's kind of like the police fucking what's it called, traffic parking controller, whatever the fuck you want the name is.
Fucking truck, man.
At the airport, yeah, and he's like fucking. Yeah, he's move the truck, move your stuff to the ground, and what's his face? The Kate and
he's eating up the screen as well. He's so aware that he's in Twister's movie, and he's just like, people are going to know me.
Yeah, even in the background, you can tell him he's fucking but yeah. But like Tyler and fucking Kate have their goodbye, and you're kind of, are they gonna fucking kiss? Because at this point, despite all the chemistry and all that, there's still nothing has happened between them, and. Is he going to let her drive away or not? And he's in his truck, and she's getting into the airport, and Paul Scheer's trying to get him to move, and then he goes bam, and he turns on the drills in his truck, which drill down into the concrete, and he just gets out and leaves his truck there outside the airport.
You're like, going to jail for that.
Yeah, like dick move. But he runs in to catch up with her, and when he catches her, the intercom says that there's a storm coming and there's delays. So they kind of run off together. And you assume it's like, oh, here we go again. Let's go save or let's go get another tornado while we wait for the flights to come back on. Or they might have gone to fucking the jacks because the tension was building from the fucking 5 minutes into the movie. I don't know. But yeah, the end credits are kind of cool. They show some of the documentary that the British dude had been filming, and it's ended quite nicely. But yeah, that's it. Like it's formulaic. So everything is in a very straight line, by the numbers movie. But in a good way, in a fun way. The technobabble could have done without. I don't know what you could have done in this to give me anything new. That I wouldn't be sitting here saying, "Oh, it's a little formulaic." It's a weather movie. It's a disaster movie that is. What else do you want from it?
Yeah, the kind of ingredients are there. Exactly. It's a disaster movie, some cool action set pieces. It is quite harrowing in moments. The two leads, their chemistry is brilliant. Their performances are great. It's cool. It's got fucking... The soundtrack is uberly fucking cheesy. Like at one point when she goes home or something, this fucking country music song comes on. I'm just like, did someone write this while they were watching the movie? It's like, I just came home and I don't want to go to the city. Like, what the fuck? Describing exactly what's happening in this
Yeah,
girl's
it'd be
life.
like it's like something you would have seen in Team America or something. Like it's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
real fucking. But it's that it is it's a proper fucking country
Yeah. But
country
when that
tune as she's
country
looking off into
stuff,
the distance.
yeah,
Like
yeah, exactly. But when that country kind of stuff comes on, when Glenn Powell's on screen or whatever, it's still cheesy and hokey as fuck. But you're just kind of grinning along, going, "That's fucking great!" Like, go on,
yeah,
you know,
it's fun. Well, it's
yeehaw!
fun.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's fun. Like the fucking truck is fucking because he's tearing across the fucking grass. The
Mm,
fucking country music is blaring. Storms getting whipped up, and like it's just fun. Whereas when it's fucking tearing through the refinery or killing Kate's mates at the start, of course, it's
mm.
fucking big dramatic,
Yeah, yeah,
big dramatic score. But it's a lot of fun, man. I enjoyed it. I'm glad that it was good. Me and you've discussed not sequels, but even reimaginings or any of these kind of things that come out years later can sometimes be, why did you bother? Just fucking let it lie.
absolutely.
We're
It's
done with our
cash
disaster
cow or
movies.
something. Yeah,
But
or
yeah,
they're a
whereas
tie-in. Yeah, they're a tie-in, like Dumb and Dumber 2 or whatever. They're just kind of, it's too late, and it's you don't care about, too much time has passed. You know that the movie and the moment has passed. But with Twisters, the fact that
yeah,
they, I guess what works for it is it's not a kind of like, oh, it's tied so much to a movie 20 fucking 8 years ago. They kind of take it and go, hey, we'll just literally just kind of make another one. And in the vein of the first one, the only tie to it is the way it's a throwback to a 90s disaster movie, which is,
mm,
as you're saying, as painfully formulaic it can be, it's fucking cinema, like summer movie fun, you know?
yeah.
What else you want?
But there was like Helen Hunt up until I don't know, 5-6 years ago, whatever it was still involved to do a
Hmm.
Twister 2. Like she was going to be in it, and then that story never panned out. And
Yeah.
Bill Paxton had tried to get one made for
Hmm.
years, and it just never happened. But this was good. I like the fact that they put his son into it, and the fact that they
Yeah.
used his truck. And there's another callback line to that she says, which is a Bill Paxton line in the first one when he keeps saying, "I'm not back," like John Wick.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
back. I'm not back. And so at one point she gets asked if she's back, and he's like, "I'm not back."
I'm back. Yeah,
And it
yeah.
was just one. It's not back to one of his lines in the first one, which is great. Um, but yeah, no, it was fun. I highly recommend this. It's because it's one for everybody. It's not. We've done a lot of horror and sci-fi that a lot of people will never watch. Well, this might listen to the show, but will never watch. This is a lot of fun, and it's
Yeah.
definitely worth checking out.
Happy days. So yeah, thanks for that, Phil. That's great. Yeah, well worth a watch. A good 3.5 star movie. So yeah, that's an end to episode 40 of Middle Age Geeks. Thanks a million for all your support and feedback and listening and downloading. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. So yeah, keep sharing, liking, keep the feedback coming, and we will be back next week with Deadpool and Wolverine. See you later. Yeehaw!